This episode of NFT podcast Ars Cryptoctica is brought to you by Uptick. Uptick is an industry leader in the NFT marketplace in terms of functionality, infrastructure, and more. Choose from digital art, photography, collectible cards, MP4 video, tickets, and soon MP3 audio NFT formats. Mint on various chains and switch between multiple chains. Download the NFT mobile marketplace app with built-in wallets or go to upticknft.com and set up an account with the Kepler wallet extension. Also, check out their Telegram and Discord for more details like the current Uptick token testnet, which is live. Whatever your need for NFTs, Uptick has you covered. All right, welcome back to Ars Cryptoctica. This is episode 32, and Snarskis, thank you so much for coming back on. This is like your third time on the show, right?
I think so. Thank you so much for having me so often.
Yeah, I'm happy you can come on. So, how's life? How's everything going?
Not bad, slowly, just working on new artworks and just learning new technologies and ways that I can create art, improve my pieces, and that's it. Yeah, just step by step.
Nice. Actually, I can see kind of in the background there. For me, it's on the left. I don't know for you, maybe it's on the right. There's like a red background, and I saw you. You did like an acrylic painting, kind of like a time lapse on Twitter, maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wondering. I'm not an artist, so I was curious, like, what's it like for you? You in the past, you've talked a lot about digital painting, but in that case, you were actually, you had the paintbrush out. Is it a totally different experience for you, or?
Well, I found this very both digital and physical paintings. I found it really relaxing and almost it's like a meditation.
Mhm.
But physical is something else. I think you're more engaged because you have less of control. Because while I was painting even this piece, it's just a sketch, and while I was working on a digital platform, you can be very brave. You can always go back and amend your mistakes. But when you're working with the physical, if something goes wrong, you just need to improvise it and make it work, or you have to wait until it dries and
Mm.
then you come back to the piece and you redo it. So that's the main difference. I think digital, you have more flexibility, but maybe with physical, you're more engaged. You smell the paint, you keep going, replacing your brushes, water, washing everything. So I think it's more like a engage. You're working with the actual colors, with water, with brushes, and there's no way to go back. Because I even was painting it, I made a mistake and I wanted to click on the keyboard command Z to come back one step because I made a little mistake. So, but then I realized, oh, actually, it's fun. I'll wait until it dries and maybe I can figure out how to fix it. So it's totally different experience, but they're both close, but definitely physical is a bit more engaging. Digital is more productive. It makes you more efficient.
I guess expense wise, it's a lot cheaper to go digital too, right? You have to buy all the paint and the canvas and like you said brushes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And especially the thing is, you have differences in paint. So I have various ones, the ones that are slightly cheaper and the ones that really high-end paints. And you really can feel differences because it took me perhaps 20-30 minutes to wash my hands from the high-end paints because once it touches, it's crazy. It stays on the brushes on your hands forever. So even from that, you can see the consistency of the oil and the pigmentation is completely different.
Mm.
But at the same time, it's fun to play around and do sketches, painting sketches. Even some people might think like, oh, you do sketches only by pencil, but simply you can just grab a couple colors and sketch out something on the paper.
Mm.
Also, I was thinking maybe I could do the same process I used to do earlier, do something on a paper canvas, take a picture, high resolution picture, add it on my computer, and then do further changes with software,
Mm.
painting over the top, adding more textures, maybe playing around with the composition. So it's just another medium. And later we can jump in to AI art as well. So we are going from very like a basic physical traditional painting more into digital. That was a bleeding edge technology 10 years ago, and now it's like a absolutely basic way of creating art. And now we have something more that is AI generated piece.
Well, let's jump into that now. Let's talk about AI. I know a little bit. Like maybe you go to a website, what you put in like 3 keywords, hamburger,
Mm.
big, purple, or something, and then it spits
I
out a picture.
prepared, I can show you on my screen if you like. We
Yeah.
can do a demo and then we can talk about it, what we saw.
Okay. So I'll just make you the host, and then you've got full control. There we go.
Okay, so let's have a look in the AI generating tool. So
Mm-hmm.
there's various tools. One of the most popular is DALL-E 2 and Midjourney. So today I will use Midjourney to create a couple of pieces. So how it works, very basic. It's you need to use a prompt where you input what would you like to see, what would you like AI to generate for you. So for example, you can use words describing color, object, mood, the way you would like image to be rendered. So it could be 2D or 3D image. You can be very specific. You can create crazy stuff like technical drawings or super detailed 3D renders. So I think would be fun to see. First one, we can generate like a technical drawing, and then later we can generate something really highly in detail rendered image. So on Midjourney, what is very interesting about the Midjourney is that it runs on actually a Discord channel. It's not an app or a specific website. It's actually the chat. So what you need to do to get on this, you need to have a Discord account, join the Midjourney Discord group, and you will be able to create up to 10 new images as a new user. And later you have options where you pay monthly to be able to generate certain number of images. I believe that for $10 it's 30 images a month, and then you have different price brackets where you can use for commercial use and etc. So let's see. Once we jump in on a Discord, we have newbies chats. What's interesting here is that in the chat we will generate actual picture, but also this is a public chat. We can see what other people are creating, what other people are putting in their prompts. So this is super helpful. For example, if you're brand new, and most people are, just to see what kind of words you need to type in order to create particular look or angle or mood image. So let's see, to start with, we need to click / and then imagine, enter, and now we can put whatever we like. So I think for a first demo would be really interesting to see something very linear, simple, like, let's see, technical drawing of a spaceship, paper, pencil. Let's see, I think that will be enough. Let's see, 2D. So in the prompt, I put a technical drawing of a spaceship, paper, pencil. So hopefully what we will get will be slightly different than what we see in common AI art. That is, people love creating highly 3D images. So what we should receive, let's see, the chat is super active at this time.
Yeah.
What we're supposed to see should reflect our drawing. Let's see. So we already can see that AI is generating a picture, and it looks like what we wanted: paper, texture, and drawing using pencil. So we have 52%, 75%. Let's see. I need to scroll. Yes.
Typing in those words counts as like one of the 10 free images, or how you have to click final before it counts? How does that work?
No, it doesn't count as per word, counts by the actual final entries you put in. So for example, we just typed it, for example, 50 words in one prompt. We press enter. This is one generation of image. So you can do this 10 times to replicate. So, and this is what we got.
Wow.
Technical drawing of a spaceship, and AI gave us 4 different options, and I think this looks amazing. It looks
Totally.
exactly what we wanted. That looks drawn on a paper by using a pencil. So I think this is quite insane. And let's have a look what options we have now once we receive our images. So we have 4 options, and now we are able to upscale the picture version 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or, for example, if we really like one of the pieces, let's say number 4, we can ask for another variance of this picture. So let's see, it should generate here. No, not ours. Let's see. Boom.
Yeah, I see it.
So we chose number 4 as, okay, we like this as a base, we like as an idea, and can we get another 4 options, something similar to that? And here we are. AI just produced in a couple seconds another 4 different options.
Wow.
I think the
So cool.
number 3 is super great. And what we can do now is to press upscale on number 3. And again, it starts to generate higher resolution and adds a little bit more detail to this. And this takes normally a little bit longer, but because we have very simple 2D object, it should finish much faster than something is being rendered in 3D. So let's see, when it's being upscaled, we can open it full screen and actually see how much detail there is, because I can see now the AI is adding a bit of text as well. So it's like a real technical drawing. So it knows that it should be not just a simple picture, but also that there are some marks, maybe numbers, and etc. explaining what is that spaceship.
Amazing.
So let's see, we're at 95%, and when it finishes, we can open it. Let's see, here we are. And we can open original.
Hmm.
And this is the drawing.
That's cool.
I think this is incredible what AI can create today. Also, what we can see on the right, it looks like it's been drawn on a paper journal, on a
Yeah.
book. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy how much details we can see. And also you can see actual paper texture. That paper is being generated as a separate medium, and on the top you have what we wanted. So it's not just a paper, okay, it's going to be a white or gray background, but it actually generated specific paper that is being used for sketching. So I think this is amazing, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally. So
And
how can you tell if something's AI drawn or not AI drawn? Are there some giveaways?
this is very interesting because I noticed or somebody is perhaps inspired by us creating a technical drawing of a robot. Uh, um, I found this looking at AI art for approximately 6 months. I found that there is a distinct look. Sometimes it's difficult to tell, but most of the pictures I noticed they're a bit moody. And if we are looking at the characters, I noticed that AI cannot really create recreate eyes on animals and humans. They look a bit weird. So we can have a look at other people creations and to see what is different. So normally, even if it's a high res generated image, there's always something wrong about the eyes. Eyes are always dark, or sometimes you can see color running out of the shape. And let's have a look at the more examples. So I think it's one of the main giveaways for AI art, they're normally uneven. Most of the times you can see even different colors. It's quite common to have a brown and blue or green and brown, and they're even like natural.
Ears are pretty strange. Ears on this guy.
Yeah, yeah. But this could be also, ears could be quite, stylistic approach and that kind of stuff. But eyes, I think people are always pay attention a lot of into the detail. You want to make it at some point a right shape, size, and kind of match them. Even like a human face is always, how do you say it? It's not even on both sides, right? But
Asymmetrical.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
asymmetrical face, but the way AI creates eyes is very, very distinct looking. So even on animals or humans, you can notice that different shapes, color is running over. There's no retinas most of the times. Let's see if we can scroll and find more of the examples. But I think that would be first giveaway. Then I think if you look if you have more experience with AI art, naturally you will feel what has been generated or what's been created by a person. So sometimes it's difficult to say what exactly is wrong or what exactly gives away, but you can just tell that it's AI generated. Even here, we have very strange eyes. So you don't know, is it retina here or retina from that side till this side, and color is overrunning. So it's very interesting that the way it creates faces.
It's often quite dark too. I find shadowy, like it's not like a bright, shiny beach ball or, sparkling Coke can. It's always got that kind of gray.
Yeah, absolutely. They're quite moody, even though, so this is quite tricky because is it because people are inputting type of stylistic prompt words? They want to have the darkish outcome, or it's just naturally AI is creating this approach? Because even sometimes you look at the happy colors, but there's something moody about the picture, right? So even here, it's a perfect example. Like it's so distinct looking. I never seen anyone creating eyes like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, some people say, dealing with AI is kind of summoning the beast. It's going to get out of control. It's going to become smarter than us. Do you have any concerns about AI?
Well, one of the concerns is from artist perspective, if people are able to generate images, it's quite tricky for artists to compete because image like this could take many hours to be created by an artist, but also there's another side that AI can also replicate particular style of particular artist, and every brushstroke is like a signature to an artist, because the way you paint on the canvas on a paper, every stroke you do is like your signature. No one can replicate. But if AI can analyze your style and generate another picture, it's quite a problem. And I saw some articles already that artists are concerned about this, but how it's going to evolve in the future, we don't even know. But there will be issues with the copyrights, with the plagiarism, and etc. So it's quite tricky because AI is becoming advanced super, super fast. Like I saw this perhaps 6 months ago, but now it looks like these pictures are getting even better because you're able to create something super high res. So it could be replaced not just illustrators and artists, but perhaps could be replaced even like a 3D artist. But at the same time, it's another tool that could be used for an artist to use for sketching or for inspiration, but as well, other people might use this tool to replace artists by ordering commission work. If, for example, I believe that magazines could do this very easily. If they need illustration of something, you can just input the prompt and whatever comes out, they can do a few variations. And then do you need to hire artists? You know, if you have, for example, article ready that needs to go and you need a couple images to illustrate, you don't need to even buy like Shutterstock license images. You can just generate yourself, include in your article, and there's like kind of no copyright because it's AI generated. And also people cannot replicate what you created, so people cannot really even trace it, like, is it, this is original, it's not original, because it's almost like Ethereum transaction. It happens, it's unique. Well, on Ethereum at least you can see like a trace, but in this instance, if you even find the right prompt that was used for a particular piece, if you put input again in the system, it will come out as something else.
It's interesting. I don't think I would personally, I don't think I would pay money for AI art, because I would kind of assume that if I knew the keywords, I could kind of, roughly generate something similar,
Absolutely.
And I think you want to pay a lot of money if someone's really, scarcity. It all comes down to scarcity, right? The great artists can only paint so much, but it's going to be reproduced endlessly. But if it's a doctor, like, analyzing skin cancer or even performing an operation, I think that I'd go with the AI, because they can analyze millions of cases and come up with the best solution.
I found one more interesting case about AI in France. I believe it happened in France. There was an article on Bloomberg that one company generated AI system that analyzes maps and finds illegal swimming pools. So you have to pay like a high taxes on a swimming pool, but so many people are not declaring them, and especially it's happening in Greece, Italy, all over like Mediterranean region. And the company found like for hundreds of thousands euros that's supposed to be paid to government for taxation of this swimming pool. So I found this super interesting that now AI can do such a complex work as analyze the maps, understand the addresses, and find who has the swimming pools, and then read data, who paid taxes on the swimming pool, who didn't, and just trace people this way and ask for, to pay their taxes for illegal, builds. And also, this is at the same time super complex, but it's quite easy because swimming pool, as you think, it's quite easy visually to detect because it's a bright color, always bright bluish turquoise color. So visually it's quite easy to detect. But then I was thinking in the future, then builders and architects can build something to confuse AI.
Camouflage swimming pools.
Camouflage swimming pools, exactly. So because there's a like crazy beautiful architecture, urban architecture, where they're creating like a moss on the roofs. So as well, this prevents from satellites to detecting the houses. So same could be applied for AI to confuse it that there's no swimming pool. So there's one solution that actually can be detected, but then people might be one step ahead and think like, okay, if they're using AI, they might see my pool, then I'm gonna do in a camouflage or I don't know, QR code kind of to confuse AI completely. Because it was like with machine vision issues, like if you draw something on a road, or if you have truck and truck has like a kind of creative artwork on their back, which is a massive object, and you have, for example, a tree or a deer, massive deer drawn on a truck as a graphic, and then machine vision might think, okay, oh no, it's an object, it's not a car, I might avoid, I might like I turn sharp left or right. And the same thing could be done visually, perhaps for the swimming pool solution. But then there's one step forward that once they perfect the swimming pool approach later, government can even detect illegal builds. So for example, if somebody built extension to their house where they're not supposed to, or if they're built somewhere in a region where it's like a national park, but nobody comes around to check, and there's another mansion built. So AI will be able to detect changes on the map, and perhaps this could be used for a pollution, for a climate change, and all of this. And of course, everyone's favorite, the military capabilities, where you can track, convoys, where they're moving, etc., using AI, and track speed and capacity, etc. So I think it's fascinating. You can get into this rabbit hole from generating pictures, but actually using machine vision for multiple creative things that could be military or tax or etc.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the future is going to be crazy. So when you're talking about swimming pools, I heard that they already have the technology. Everyone drives around with their smartphone, and in the past, the police would be out there with their radar gun trying to see how fast people are going. They'd have to chase
Yeah.
them down. But like now, they already know who's speeding, right? Like there's a history of the last 1,000 days, who's been speeding, who hasn't. They could just send the ticket, set up an AI bot, do it all.
You know what? I found it very interesting. I just discovered this summer that in Lithuania, there's, instead of speed gun, you have one speed gun at the, for example, you have distance, and there's one speed gun at the beginning and another one is at the back.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you can drive by under the speed limit, but then you can speed it up, and if you hit earlier, they know that you were driving, speeding, because by simple mathematics, that okay,
Yeah.
it was 100 meters distance, but you came too quickly to the another point. So they know straight away that you were speeding, because the most common thing everyone sees at the speed gun, they slow down and they back on the regular speed. So I think this is like a simple approach, but that works. You cannot beat the system this way then.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always something. Listening to like the camouflage pool idea, I was thinking, we've got an Amazon Echo and Siri's always listening. So anytime a
Yeah,
kid says, I'm going to jump in the pool, or, they hear the water sound, there's no way
exactly.
to avoid
That's
it.
that's why you shouldn't have a smart speaker, because this is crazy. Uh, I heard stories and read about it that once you have the smart speaker can hear your dog barking or your baby crying, and then it pushes uh, dog food, vet
Mm,
insurance, all the care for the babies, all the care for the mothers at that stage, because it's so simple to break down your life depending where you are at that point. So for example, if you're a young parent, you have particular issues to be solved, and then advertisers can take the advantage. Okay, they have a young baby, that means that they need ABC. They have a dog. Oh, perhaps we can suggest this insurance, this food. We can create, like, all of these solutions to take the money from the right people, maximizing the exposure, that you're not targeting somebody who has a parrot and you're trying to sell baby food. That's why it never happens to you. Like, you don't get like a random ad. I'm trying like to use as much VPNs and block everything. And from time to time, I'm trying to see some random ads, and then I'm really happy that that kind of works, because it try to confuse the system. It's fascinating, but yeah, uh, you have to be just use common sense. I don't know. Do you need to have that smart speaker that is literally listening nonstop? What's
yeah.
the purpose?
Yeah. But it's hard to avoid, right? Even like with your smartphone, I've got iPhone, my wife has Android. And like a couple times she said, before going to bed, oh, I've kind of got a sore throat or something. And the
Mm-hmm.
next day there's advertisements for cough medicine on her phone. Like even without the smart speaker, it's crazy. There's always some microphone somewhere. Maybe it's your laptop, or
Yeah,
it's hard to
yeah,
avoid.
exactly. Let's
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Snarskis. That was very educational.
My pleasure,
Educational.
my pleasure.
Mm,
Learning as well, slowly, just tapping into. That's why yesterday I went to bed too late because like 9 o'clock I thought, oh, let me try to do some 3D stuff. And then I went to bed like at 2 a.m. or 2:30. So
jeez.
when I get into something, I just love to play around and get the result. And just interesting to explore different mediums. So now I started tapping a little bit in 3D. I wanted to do this like 2 years ago, but it just happened. You need to do something else. And now I want to try to use this 3D, uh, render it as export it as a 2D object, and then play around with my 2D painting with 3D objects and make the crossover. And then later as well to use that kind of 3D painting where you're using AR glasses. So I need to get that, but I think Facebook is coming out soon with the new AR gear. So I think I'll need to wait a little bit. But yeah, I'm just fascinated about these old tools that are available and just play around and to see what works and what can be created.
Yeah. What we're using, like Blender? Or what kind of software were you using for
At
the
the
3D?
moment, I'm using Blender, and yesterday, I think they came out recently with 3.2 version. I believe this is brand new version, and it's just fascinating. It's open source software,
Mm,
absolutely free. You can donate them for this amazing work, but software is great. And yes, I'm doing my baby steps now, creating a donuts.
mm. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. I don't know really how to use it, but I've seen some people, and yeah, it's limitless what you can do.
Yeah, once you open it, it could be overwhelming. Like a Photoshop, first time you open Photoshop, it could be overwhelming.
Mm,
But for sure, it's a little bit more trickier because you have so many different options, and you need to just follow a proper tutorial to learn it. It's something like by yourself, you won't be able to
mm,
figure out because there's a different ways of using multiple of layers and just playing around with the material sizes and sculpting, and there's so much into one. But I think once you do it a few times, then it's you can progress it very quickly. It's everyone, they do first 2 3 tutorials and they drop it, or if somebody can pass through that painful stage, then you start to get it. I think with the programming as well, I remember when I was doing HTML, CSS, and at the beginning was so crazy, and divisions and tables and paragraphs, how you put everything together. Then you try to style it, and it's just if you can survive the very first tutorials, then you can improve.
yeah, nice. Okay, maybe we'll wrap it up there. We can talk again maybe sometime about 3D or other tools.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to say in this episode, or
Oh, we
wrap it
did
up?
quite a long one.
Yeah,
I can remember where we started and where we finished now. But yeah,
yeah,
definitely we can do perhaps something more. We went from art into swimming pools, 3D.
yeah. That's good. I liked it. Okay, well, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for having me. See you
Thanks,
later.
Narcissus. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, so shall we jump back in the AI presentation?
Yeah, yeah. You've got a couple tabs open. Will we use those or just start again?
Let's see. Maybe we can keep these just to
Mm.
show later as well while we
Yeah,
talk, right?
couldn't compare. Mm.
Yeah, just to see. Perfect.